I've missed the last.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. This is Poets and Pints number 92. Yep, 92 shows in 8 years next month. So it's insane. My name is Tony Placido, and I am not your host this evening. I am just given the little pre-host hosting that comes with a guest curator who will be up on stage in a minute. But I want to remind everybody that this show is brought to you by Crack Walnut, which is a local chapter of the League of Minnesota Poets. We got several members of the League of Minnesota Poets here tonight, so if you have questions, comments, concerns, please come to one of us and we'll talk to you. Otherwise, if you want to sign up and be a member of Crack Walnut or the League of Minnesota Poets, there's information on the table over there. We don't have any merch tonight. We were going to have a visual artist, Destiny Davidson, who could not make it because she has food poisoning. I know. It sucks. So, and I just said that on the internet, so sorry, Destiny, if you're watching. I probably should have told the whole damn world. Anyway, oh well. So, without further ado, I want to welcome tonight the guest curator who put together this little show of ours tonight. We do this every so often where we'll bring in a guest curator because otherwise I will go insane planning 12 shows a year. So now I plan like 6 and it's great. So, without further ado, it is Stevie Sanchez IV.
Yeah. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you very much.
I'm not guaranteeing that I'm not going to suck at this. I've never hosted anything before. So, it's very possible that you might have a shitty host this evening. I love that. 2 claps for sincerity. Thank you very much for coming. It's so wonderful to see all of you. I love being in a place where everybody, like, might not be a huge crowd, but every last being in the crowd is somebody who has a love for the art form that's going on, and I think that's spectacularly beautiful. So thank all of you so much for coming. And, oh, that's right, my son is going to be watching this. Hi, Stevie Bean, I love you, but Harvard too. Yeah, love you. All right. Excuse me there, little family thing. Also, thank you very much, Tony. He's been doing this for a very, very, very long time consistently, and I know for me personally, dude, it's meant a lot for me to have someone to come like do poetry with beings that care about poetry in the same way I do. So, mad love to you, for real. I mean that from the bottom of my heart and soul, brother. Oh yeah, and his book, The Conflict That Creates, is super dope. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it, dude. I read the whole thing. It's fantastic. It is. So Tony normally has a thing he does at the beginning, which I think is brilliant, where you do, he has someone come up and perform a poem from a poet that you might not be familiar with. And I thought I wanted to do that. I've been trying to do it for like months, but somebody else always gets the spot. So since I'm curating and hosting, I'm bogarting all over this evening. And yeah, I'm going to do one of my favorite poems, like all time, bar none. It is Saul Williams' poem. Anyone familiar?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Saul Williams.
Yeah, word. And I think I won't need this thing for it. So this is, which one is this? Coded Language, I think it's called. That or, anyways, if you look for it, you'll find it. It's fun. It's fantastic. Good evening. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking. Good to see you. Oh, it's been a while.
Me too. I know, it's been a hot minute.
This is a poem by Saul Williams. Here we go. Whereas break beats have been the missing link connecting the diasporic community to its drum-woven past. Whereas the quantized drum has allowed the whirling mathematicians to calculate the ever-changing distance between rock and stardust. We do but hereby declare reality unkept by the changing standards of dialogue. Statements such as keep it real, especially when punctuating or anticipating modes of ultra-violence inflicted psychologically or physically, will henceforth be seen as retroactive and not representative of the individually determined is. Motherfuckers better realize now's the time to self-actualize. Studies show that when the given norm is changed in the face of the unchanging, the remaining contradictions will parallel the truth. Equate rhyme with reason, sun with season, reject mediocrity. Your current frequencies of understanding outweigh that which has been given for you to understand. The current standard is the equivalent of an adolescent restricted to the diet of an infant whose rapidly changing body would acquire dysfunction and deformative symptoms and could not properly mature on a diet of applesauce and crushed pears. Light years are interchangeable with the years of living in darkness, but the role of darkness is not to be seen as or equated with ignorance, but with the unknown and the mysteries of the unseen. Thus, we claim the present as the present, as the hereafter. We are unraveling our navel so that we may ingest the sun. We are not afraid of the darkness. We trust that the moon shall guide us. We're determining the future at this very moment. We know that the heart is the philosopher's stone. Our music is our alchemy. We stand as the manifested equivalent of 3 buckets of water and a handful of minerals. Thus, realizing that those very buckets flipped upside down supply the percussive factor of forever. Let your children name themselves and claim themselves as the new day. For today, we are determined to be the channelers of these changing frequencies into songs, writings, paintings, dance, drama, art, photography, love. And love, we enlist every instrument, acoustic, electronic, every so-called gender, race, sexual preference, every person as beings of sound to acknowledge their responsibility to uplift the consciousness of the entire fucking world. Any utterance unaimed will be disclaimed, will be maimed, and that's why those two rappers got themselves slain. I'm kind of spitting all over the place, dude. You can see it super good with these lights, like all shining extra hard. I was like, oh, I'm getting kind of embarrassed in this moment. Anyways, thanks for listening. That was Saul Williams. You should check him out, dude. He's an amazing writer. But my role here this evening is as host, and if my phone would light up and listen to me, I would let it inform me as it is supposed to do. But much like myself, it gets temperamental. Oh, there we go. And the first being we have coming up here this evening is Zelda Perkins, and this is Zelda's bio. She was born on a Thursday beneath a maple tree as the leaves let go and crinkled with delight. Not sure what gender they might be in any moment. Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude. What gender they might be at any moment. They're watching the world filled with humans and wondered if they could ever fit in. Perhaps if they hid, but hiding never gave them satisfaction. One day, they touched the ocean and it all made sense. They are here on this planet Earth to shed light on humanity and the experiences unique to being a human on this Earth star. Please help me welcome Zelda Perkins.
Earth is feminine, but I'm floating in a man's mission, faultless to follow the flow, betrayed or illusion. Deep within, we are all pure, but fear forces us to falter. So we look to the sky wondering why, when what we eat is below our feet. What's this between you and me? Broken apart with a bright light, I entered this system which taught and tortured my disposition. Controlled, held in a bubble. I forgot to breathe. What could I be? A crescent peered and gently eased a nod or glimmer, which seeped and creeped through cracks. They, the mysterious they became threatened. What is felt from below the belt is also part of logic, or else chemical reaction. But the mysteriousness of the heart is an art. How to be free? It is up to me. My rest and revitalize is being contained until a container dissipates. It's a matter of fates. At least one will show glee, but it is about all three. And look, I once foretook beauty to be atop a pyramid scheme, until the unknown end began again, for nevermore. Now, to be is simple. It's a principle. Discipline again and again, and adding disciples to decipher and wipe her slate clean. It's not me to be direct. I'll redirect this mission to whose world? It's Earth. Not once or thrice, but being nice is honestly the best advice. As we nurture this nature, it lied in order to be believed.
Yeah.
I find it's better to be betwixt with beauty, to know her scope, which fools so many. An unerring, sacrificial surface surrounded by suits of adoring yet trivial personalities. I'm just wondering, where'd you go for your transformation? I'm just sitting here, pulling petals, and just wondering, where are we going around on this transportation? When in doubt, you could check the blouse, but then stand in formation. Hear all those cheers? It's hollow. Just blending voices of the past into a visual representation. And where did you go for your transfiguration? Let's get down to the marrow. A sharper sword for less scarring. Pull your ears off and cut your hair. I'm just a conehead looking for tomorrow. Pulling a string tied to the elephant in the room. Have you found your transistor radio? One more time. For the nun in back, in the reformed uniform. It's not about forgiveness. And have you found your Trans-Siberian Orchestra? Once, when I was young, I skipped a stone across the river. It's still satisfying, skimming the surface under the stars. only when reflections and epiphanies from lightning bolt to carry the current. Tucked inside a shell with 4 chambers, the thunder growls and the water meows. Just waiting on your transistor radio. From within, a whisper of wisdom. Is that an intuition? Where beauty resides isn't seen by opal eyes, only when divine desires for freedom. Watch it now. Unfurl your brow. Have you looked at your own hands lately? Again and again, I return to sin, but this time I found the transition. Like a dragonfly fluttering upstream, juggling more than time. Tell me with eloquent words, like when the ions convalesced in a static dance. I watched the northern lights. But you're just in a trance.
I think there's an awake button on this thing somewhere. Pick one. When
What
the
is
shadows
this false
crawl over
reality
the
handbelt?
edges of the approaching sun,
I thought I had
they
torn
play
down
depraved
my
memory,
weak links,
a
but
game
they
of
still haunt me.
superimposing scars of
Ghosts drowned
circumstance
in
and
water
situation
flooded the
over
halls
hopes
of my
of
mind.
tomorrow and want of crippling
Why
the
is
day
life
before it
so
arrives.
bitter and sweet?
But the sun doesn't
Just when I
notice.
feel the fullness
His courage
of my
refuses to carry the
surroundings,
loneliness
shadows
implied,
bite
and his
back
love
in,
is for the
shivers
shadows
down
even.
my spine and
That's why
rests
they die under his gaze.
a cold
His
hand
love
on my back.
is all they ever needed.
A hollow
Completed,
spot,
they vanish,
bottomless and empty.
asking themselves, what am I hungry for? Then spilling themselves across the warm tundras to redefine exhilaration as warm shivers of wind over the stalks of cattails and the tails of cat stalking the meadows of mystery with mastery before awaiting rebirth as those cats' third lives, brought back through satisfaction of curiosity quenched and questions answered, anchored in, query quelled, quills killing all dampening of love's vibration. I hunt for reciprocal intimacy, asking a new question in a moment unbidden. Are you going to kiss me back or just offer up your lips? I slowly reach for recoil, hoping to be stopped with the fervor of physical fever and pink cheek passions peeking through heavily lidded eyes, skins slicked by pheromones playing at eternity in each passing moments parading to the future.
Gathered or dissipated downstream.
So I, once and for all, can give thanks and set off on a new venture, one I can be proud to remember, because I'm readied and steadied, and I know that not all is conflict. That's why feathers split air, enough for the birds to carry quilts and songs over distance, murk, and doom. Cycling soft vibrational patterns saved and savored through centuries and later sung to small children by firelight on winter night in old cabins built with gumption, gusto, groove, and no small
Concentrate
amount
on
of
a
grit.
bun on the tip of my nose, not even
Then
knowing
filled
where
with the
everything else
small
goes.
family's
While
donation
living in
of
joy,
loving
while
dedication
grotesque
to each
gargoyles
other,
grumble back
to a
into the
vision
ground,
shared to
as guardians
something
where
built
angels bring
in
forth rays
unison.
of pleasure,
Until one day I
colored
realized
Polaroids fade into
a good
distant
day
dust,
ain't a
just as
bad
the
day,
sunset fades into
and a
twilight,
cloudy day is
an
cool.
entity all its
If
own
the
which
sun ain't
melds
shining
happiness
here,
and deep assurance.
it's out there warming other pools so all can see. Life is but a paradise, but it's one that ends in a dream.
paradise.
There is no paradox, only varying degrees of response to interdependence within a seemingly closed system.
Whoa!
Let's clear some chairs out, huh? All right, Wood, did you want chairs? No?
Too much.
Musical chairs. Dun, 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 dun. Musical chairs. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So, there we go. Oh, microphone. Back at a proper height. Or perhaps you're a little bit shorter than me, so maybe we'll do this.
Well, it bends down too.
Oh, does it?
The whole
Fantastic.
top part's a bending neck.
Bendy. So, yeah. Zelda Perkins. And I need my phone. 1 second. Thank you so much. Okay. And the next being that we have coming up is the fantastic Jess Morgan. Jess Morgan is a Nineberry multidisciplinary artist and poet in Duluth, Minnesota, where they juggle many hats. Yeah, I want to see that. Their jobs and gig work include, but are not limited to, working as a sound technician for events, wedding DJ, patient educator for abortion services at WE Health Clinic, copy editor for Perfect Duluth Day, photographer, an occasional goat sitter, which I think is probably the best accolade on there, and also a being of complete awesomeness. Poems they've written have been included in, or are soon to be included in, the Nemaji, excuse me, I didn't mean to butcher that, review, Prove Art Gallery's zine titled Emerge, New Verse News, Pierce Lush's Cow Anthology, yes, that's awesome, and the Wisconsin Review. Jess shares a TikTok account with their non-binary poet and crime partner, Henry, called @ColdLakeHotPoets to capture their poetry adventures around Duluth. Once again, that is @ColdLakeHotPoets. Please be awesome and welcome very fantastically, Jess Morgan.
Hello. We got here right in the nick of time for Duluth. We're not really used to wandering around your freeways or highways or whatever they're called. Just kidding, kind of. This is To Terrible Transitions. Standing behind the DJ table, I turned the bass down, pressed play, and shifted the crossfader to the left. Words wobbled and clashed, trembled like two anxious bodies that don't quite know how to fit together. I winched as half the dance floor scattered, as fast as some of the people I thought I needed. Told myself, crush it during the next song. Not everyone returned, but my friends did. This one is called Cold Lake Hot Poets, the name of the TikTok. I realize I'm visibly queer now because I get hit on by more women when I DJ weddings, and I get slurred while walking with friends or partners along the lake walk. But in front of Mother Superior, we are as healing and fluid for each other as she is to us. Ah, rocks and sand, the two genders we crack. But really, sand is just a bunch of small rocks, and rocks really big sand, and we just accept all the shells and the lake glass all the same. People ask us which one of us is the cold lake, and which one of us is the hot poet. But neither of us like to prescribe to those boxes. On some days, one of us is the pen, and the other is the paper. On some days, one of us is the pen, and the other the horizon. This one is called Before It Screams. As the ambulance passes by, I watch people's automobiles pulling to the side and the global awareness changes. Not only are heads looking out for its ability to pass with ease, but suddenly everyone is looking out for everyone. A cohesive unit working together like a colony of ants. And I wonder what road rage could we spare, what lives could we save if we always drove our vehicles that way? And not just the ones with wheels and motor oil, but the ones we steer on 2 feet walking down the street. Red lights could flash any moment, but do we always recognize them? Not every crisis has a siren, has a road, or makes a sound, and sometimes no one makes a call. So I have some Duluth-y kind of poems in here. This one is called Sidewalk Days. When someone tells me they run marathons, I feel bad for them. No one can convince me running so far that consuming calories mid-race in order to not die, and at a distance based on a runner that did die, is a good idea. Duluth is a city for pedestrian dreamers before it's for the Grandma Marathon tourists, for the humans that walk with a pizza slice into the antique store while they mourn the electric fetus closing before dancing all night at Blush. Duluthians know walking in slush and below 0 temperatures is a spiritual experience, and the sound the manhole cover on Lake Ave makes as you roll down the hill onto I-35 drive. 1 in 5 Duluthians make a poverty wage and struggle to survive, yet manage moments to thrive. It's the magic of the lake. And it'd be a mistake to do anything fast here. In Duluth, every day is a sidewalk day. So in Duluth, we have a clinic where abortion is legal and safe. And so this poem is called Legal and Safe in Duluth, Minnesota. We moshed a punk in a shower of bubbles and beer at house shows on Sunday in my city where abortion is legal and safe. Decked out in tinfoil hats and wearing fish heads, we flail and wail in the annual smelt parade in my city where abortion is legal and safe. Our earrings are handmade, we drink coffee roasted downtown, and our music is homegrown in my city where abortion is legal and safe. And underground, our collective hauls a piano onto Lake Superior for improvisational opera in my city where abortion is legal and safe. We plow out each other's cars in negative 30-degree temperature snowstorms in my city where abortion is legal and safe. Our lake is as big as the sea. She is grounding, healing, and as comforting as living in a city where abortion is legal and safe. Pro-choice protesters sing the child I babysit happy birthday and feed him cupcakes in my city where abortion is legal and safe. Indigenous land protectors chant and bring their drums when we rally for choice in my city where abortion is legal and safe. A surprising amount of us are queer or trans, and my non-binary heart feels right at home in my city where abortion is legal and safe. I'd like to own goats on the outside skirts of town, and will only risk of failure give birth in a city where abortion is legal and safe. My coworkers and I work together to provide patients with gender-affirming healthcare in my city's clinic where abortion is legal and safe. Patients have kissed my hand after a suction abortion, thanking me for holding theirs during the procedure in my city's clinic where abortion is legal and safe. And too many Duluthians make a poverty wage, and rent isn't cheap in my city where abortion is safe. And each day I wake up ready to fight for the culture, clinic, and city where abortion is legal and safe. I've done a lot of holding this last year, but I also had to get my wisdom teeth removed, which meant that I had to let others do that too. So this is called I'm Getting My Wisdom Teeth Removed. The last time I went to sleep when I didn't want to was at my babysitter's or when I had a 10-page paper to write. Perhaps when they're gone, I'll never try to be smarter than anyone again. I'll trust the people around me to take care of me instead of carrying a double time split meter. Next time I take a bite out of something, I'll be softer. Next time I go out in public, I'll have my experience displayed in a jar around my neck instead of my old soul or lack of serotonin. When you take a wizard's wand away, they'll still talk to frogs and make a tower more than a tower. When you take a poet's pen away, they'll still find the beauty in everything, a wordsmith architect building a bridge between all souls. Smile at me and show me your teeth, and I'll smile back. The wise remember what they have that can't be taken. My love as a fish. The love I have to give is too big for the city. I began to unfurl from the fetal position as I realized nothing is wrong with me. My love is just like a fish. Oh, my love, you indeterminate grower. The tank I keep placing you in is too small, so it's no wonder you keep suffering from shrinkage. You size 7 foot, trying to fit into a 6. You ball python, pent up in glass, too small for your expanding. Loneliness is cradling inside the aquarium you've carefully cultivated for yourself, turning down and surpassing the containers others keep offering to you. I used to see a mason jar. I believe the person telling me it was a 20-gallon tank. But a betta fish is more than decoration for the living room, more than something to look at, and can't thrive without a filter and proper place to swim. Single is allowing yourself to exist with the expanse of the whole ocean. If I can't find it here, perhaps I need to swim to another reef. City like others may not offer the expanse it takes to swim freely. All right, I have one more. This one is called Safe Inside a Vacuum. The COVID pod that I was in really helped inspire this poem a lot, so there's some characters from that. I know things are getting dire, and all my millennial queer peers want to run into the woods and start a commune. I want a goat named Fettuccine, more goats. All neighbor kids linguine and tortellini. We'll spread their cheese on our toast and wait as long as we can to slaughter the one we love the most. Brenda spent the summer growing rare types of tomatoes, and my roommate Abby will find some way to keep eating so many goddamn avocados. If we channel all of our rage about the unlivable wage into our next stage of living off the land, even our drift hunting dopamine friends can sit and focus until this is planned. Our neurodiverse brains know both that this is urgent and enough facts about the critters we'll meet that we won't even need to use the internet. Adam already fled to dream New York, but left us their blueberry farm that we'll protect from harm until they're back. What we lack in funds will fill up on big ideas. Felix is sure he'll find some way to grow exotic fruit trees in Minnesota. Says, I will get the banana seeds off the black market. He married Mothman yesterday, but hasn't met his quota of absurdity yet. And you can bet none of us will own a closet big enough to hide inside of. But eventually we'll gag, choke, and cough on the ash and dust that will finally catch up to us when the rest of the world is still on fire. I think that's time, so I think I'll move along there. I realized I had one other one, but is there time for one more?
Read it.
Alright, cool. This is like a little bit of a lighter one than the last one. Rocky sold his dog and you can too. Filmmakers from New York and LA swarmed a small arts theater to explain how to make it big. Some people just aren't willing to leave their loved ones and gamble in a dystopian America to be a background character in an already famous celebrity's life, they explain. They might have used other words. I went home to cuddle my cat, who I wouldn't trade for $1 billion. How would I sleep at night, not knowing I could buy him back?
That was awesome. Speaking of kittens, I have my third and fourth eye on now, so I can properly introduce our very next guest, who is awesome. And speaking of awesomeness, just to put her on the spot, one of my baby sisters came in the room not that long ago, and I totally did not expect it. Can everyone please say hello to Katie?
Hi, Katie.
Thank you very much. It really helps to make me feel good that we could embarrass her this evening. No doubt. So, me and my best buddy here, who is a gift from my fantastic nephew, are very, 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 very extremely happy and pleased that our next guest has agreed to come down and give us a little show here. This is Henry. How do I properly pronounce your last name?
Kneiszel.
Kneiszel. See, I was going to go Knie, so I'm glad I asked. But I still made an ass of myself by admitting that on the microphone.
On the internet.
On the internet. Thanks, Tony.
No one's ever been wrong on the internet.
Not until today.
Henry is a non-binary poet, artist, and goose. I'm stumbling over my words because I'm enjoying the peanut butter stout, which, by the way, at Sis Fist Brewery is quite fantastic. I do not drink beer, but this is the one place where I buy a beer, and it is the peanut butter jackpot because it tastes fantastic. It does. Anyways, back to Henry's bio. Let me start over and try not to flub it this time. Flub. I'll get my words right one of these days. Henry is a non-binary poet, artist, and goose appreciator from Duluth, Minnesota. Their work can be found in Starline, Francis House, and Mutiny, and elsewhere. Find Henry on Instagram at friendly.dirt.pile. One more time, friendly.dirt.pile. Or on TikTok with their partner at Cold Lake Hot Poets. Please welcome to this stage, Henry Kneiszel.
This is called Godzilla versus the crushing weight of free will. I'm a forced perspective truther, man. Do you really expect me to believe that small stuff is just far away? Get real. I can cover a full moon with my thumb, and my thumbs aren't even that big. NASA didn't land on shit. It's all about the secret tiny cities. They don't want us to know, but I saw one from an airplane once. I bet those places are just oozing with shady dealings. This is called, it's 5 o'clock here, but it's Shark Week somewhere.
Yes.
Cowabunga, Bitcoin. I'm God's own venture capitalist. I'm on the strictest regimen. I'm 8 tons of pure, unfettered American entrepreneurship blasting down the coast and coming to a city near you. I'm on the motherfucking news, bro. ABC, NBC, LLC, baby. 24/7 industrial grade hustle. I body slam PowerPoint like a tiger with a death wish. They call me 2008. Because I will take your house, destroy your job, and make your dad cry. I invented the wheel, and death, and life, and suffering, and email, and the Furby. My Etsy is an independent sovereign nation with its own nuclear program, and we don't fear NATO. Thank you. So this one is this is a found poem. I've spent many summers working at a summer camp, and this is from a week that I worked at a gifted and talented camp. So this is for middle school students who the adults in their life thought that they were just so intelligent that they needed their own special place to foster their growth as the future of our entire American society. It's called 11-year-olds screaming into a fan at gifted and talented camp, and it goes like this. Balls! Balls! Your mom! Pomegranate milk. Roses are red, violets are blue. You look like a cow and I hate you. Balls! Carl! Ha ha ha. It's the future of America. This is called Printer Test Poem number 1, and you'll never guess what I was doing when I wrote it. It goes like this. Back to the old ways. Turns out, if you jam a squid in a shoebox, it won't print your English paper. Nobody wants to work anymore. Entrepreneurship. I have taken out a small business loan and hired 10,000 songbirds. Why? Well, I didn't tell the IRS, and I'm sure as hell not going to tell you. Just kidding. It is for love. The investors are furious. This is just to say, I'm the one mailing you Tamagotchis every year. The winters here are long and cold, so I pepper them with ritual. I need the annual reminder that reaching out is easy and whimsy springs eternal. If the winters there are long and cold, it might be nice to love a plastic hamster from the 90s. Or at least to get some mail you can expect but never understand. I brought my Tamagotchi with me today. He's dead. Yeah, life isn't all roses and rainbows, kids. Speaking of which, this is a poem about being alive in 2023. It's called Millennial Poem Number 4. And it's a bit of a sing-along poem if you catch the drift and you want to join in, if the message really resonates with you as a young adult, or, it's really for anyone. Millennial Poem Number 4, it goes like this. Yeah, that's it. So this is also a poem about Duluth. I figured all of you out here could expand your horizons by learning about this city. It's called Duluth, Minnesota is the poetry capital of the world, and there's nothing you can do about it. Look at this shit. They left an ocean in the middle of the woods. Looking at shiny rocks is a popular hobby here, like the main popular hobby here. It gets so cold that you can feel your soul rattling around in your chest. It gets so cold that people celebrate 1 degree Fahrenheit like it's their dog's birthday. Every citizen is a poet. And if you don't make stanza quotas, we feed you to the lake. She is hungry for the bones of the uninspired. We've got a weird-looking bridge, 102 parks, and a guy with a pet goose. It's true. Everyone's earrings are homemade, and we all drink the same coffee. Come write a poem about it, you idiot. This is called Optimistic Winter Poem Number 1. The first snow of winter is like a hug from a friend who's just a friend. Disappointing if you're holding out for something, but experts agree it can also bring profound comfort. Life is about meeting things where they are, and poetry is a trading card game for where things are appreciators. I'm grateful to be driving 20 on the freeway, so I can enjoy the beauty of winter's stained glass windshield without worrying about imminent death. Always wiping, never quite clear. Meet me where I am and hold me here. Trade me your January joy for my extra copy of Thanksgiving optimism. Listen, fuck the pilgrims. But I love the human impulse to replace the vanishing sun with casserole and connection. And if you can't get it home, I'll bring you some in Tupperware. So we can brainstorm holidays for people just like us. Winter is a tennis serve. Winter is a lifelong project. Winter is a cold, hard, wonderful poetry contest with yourself. This year, I'm submitting everything I've ever written. I'm glad I put the snow tires on in time. Skin is a temporary tattoo. Live fast, don't die. Cover every square foot like you're hiding something. Paint to the edges like you had the forethought to put down newspaper. Easy. Easy. Careful. Call your senator right now! And your mom. And your best friend. We live in isolating times. It's called grocery list. Flour, eggs, hacksaw, sprinkles, sugar, airtight alibi, short earnest prayer, backup hacksaw. This is called, I'm sorry your master's degree in library sciences did not prepare you for understanding your new vacuum cleaner. I, too, feel betrayed by this world. Personally, I blame Reagan. My poem is based on something real, but I don't have time to explain it. Figurin. Mid-level bureaucrat of giving a shit. Undead Imagineer. Whoop! Ghost of a ghost of a ghost of that thing you said. God gives his heaviest coffees to his strongest unpaid interns. Anyway, they form a Scooby-Doo-esque gang of lovable misfits and solve the mystery of why I keep waking up unsure of who I am. And why it's so hard to explain exactly what that means to strangers. Entering your life from the outside can be a jarring experience, but it's a good way to tell if you're happy. Lately, I've been pretty happy. I've got one more. This is, my time has come. This is called Deathbed Poem. Come closer. Closer. Put your ear to my lips, child. I haven't got much time. I know where Cotton Eye Joe came from. And I reckon I might know where he went to. But I'm not going to tell you. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Keep it going for Henry. Okay, so the time has come for halftime, which means two things. One, we're going to take a break, but also because we're Correct Walnut and we are a nonprofit, so we live off of donations. So on the table, there is a way to pay digitally if you'd like to donate. Otherwise, we have a little cash box that I'm going to walk around with. If you'd like to stick $1, a quarter, anything in it is great. But it is a free show, so don't feel obligated. Just if you'd like to help out, we appreciate it. So we'll see you back here in about 10, 15-ish minutes, and then we'll do some open mic. Hey, if you're listening online, we're back.
Yeah.
Put down that piece of toast and come watch us. I don't know. All right, so we're gonna go into the open mic part, and I put out this thing this week that I thought was just a stupid little fun idea, and it got really popular really fast. It's called Cold Read, and it's gonna be a hopefully monthly workshop, but there'll be other ones going on because each admin will be able to do their own show. Because the whole point is the book club you don't prepare for. You take that stack of poetry books that you never read, and you bring them to the show, and when you're called on, you simply open it and start reading. It's a cold read. So this is a book called Mother Loose by Brandel France de Bravo, who I have never heard of. I don't even know how I got this book. But this poem is called Husband Peter. The roundness fools, its moist interior feels fecund at first. I fear we're living at the bottom of a dry well. There he keeps me very, feeding my seeds, a life without seasons, bland as uncooked gourd. The noon sun dangles over us, a key out of reach. I welcome the blaze that turns our one room into an eyelid. Only then I could pull my dreams over me. When the sun goes down, my husband dines by candlelight. The smell of his singed flesh does not sicken him. Our home grows tight since the first quickening. Who will be born here? I scratch messages into the wall, but the letters drop to the floor motionless, white worms until our feet are buried, my nails soft and useless. He told me there was water. That's the end. So that's a cold read. I literally have never read that before. All right. So typically with the open mic, you know, everybody signed up on here all nice, probably didn't want to go first, but it's random, so you might. Well, actually, you won't go first because I went first. Okay, so let's see here. Ashley, give me a number 1 through 9. 8. 1 through 8.
6.
6. Oh, actually, no, it was 1 through 9. Do you still want to go to 6?
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bill Anderson. Who didn't even sign up? I signed him up.
Yeah, I noticed that. Thanks, Tony. At least I brought something this month.
I have a book there if you didn't.
Yeah, considered that. I've been playing with high buns lately. I think that's how you say it, where it's a block of text and then you try to do a haiku at one end or the other. This is today's. We see example after example of people suffering abuse at the hands of power, up to and including death. They may not be angels, there are so few. They may not even be nice people. They've definitely made some mistakes. But is that any reason for a system and its representatives to stage such a brutal attack and end a life? I thought we were pro-life, pro-redemption. Taking a life makes redemption difficult for everyone. Blinding hatred makes martyrs, elevates regular man to mythic status. Thank you.
Bill, give me number 1 through 8. 2. Allie, it's you.
Okay, hi, I'm Allie.
Hello.
This is a new poem that I wrote called, well, it's a working title, but Terms and Conditions. I used to run to blow off steam, Now I light a cigarette and my skin breaks at the seams. It's from smoking in subtemps, for context, or maybe I'm supposed to be broken in all the places I was never held. Funny that smoking is a cure, except it could never cure my reality, elevating me to a point of being sane, and in doing so, I remain the same. Though not entirely unchanged, steady as a train on rough terrain, softening as the rain, letting up for another day. Still, I feel death lurking. He's everywhere, unaware that the living can see. So I'll let you in on a little secret just between you and me. You are the cause and effect, the ocean and the sea. Because all bodies of water are connected, even you and me. And when death takes you by the hand, for that I guarantee, you won't always be remembered, but when you will, it will be for nothing more and nothing less than the person you may actually be.
Allie, 1 through 7.
7.
What'd you say?
7.
7. Micah.
Yeah.
Micah also didn't sign up, but I'm mean.
All right, I just want to give it up for our Duluth poets one more time.
Good. It's so good, right? They're dope. I'm so glad that they're here. So I had the honor to be included in a Dolly Parton anthology that's coming out. I'm super stoked. Super stoked. I bawled through her concert. It was amazing. I was with my mom. Before I started on medication, I did a shroom trip. So this is about that. Visitation for my mama. I dreamed one night I was falling like a star through the neon lights of Vegas. Sound burst forth through lights. First piano, then guitar, then banjo. The seeker played loud and clear as day. Dolly's neon cowgirl silhouette loomed over me as she climbed the cosmic stage. Applause rumbled through the ether, though the only ones there were my mama and I, crying into a Texas-sized mug of beer. I was holding my mom who cried at the words, "You are a keeper." Dolly, our celestial mother, our own Mother Mary, she cradled us into the ether to soothe the mother wound in us both. The part that splintered some point now lost in memory. I saw my mother's deep tear, and she saw mine, and all the while Dolly sang the notes that would sew up us both. Won't you show me the way?
1 through 6.
Has one happened yet?
No?
Okay.
Heather,
I know one.
you don't know where I started counting from.
I'm like 6.5.
You're like 1 now.
Thanks, Tony. I don't know what I'm reading, so I'm just going to read this one that I pulled up. So I was at a happy hour before this, and a colleague of mine asked me about my midlife crisis. And this is one of my midlife crises poems. Crises? Crises?
Yes.
Crises poems. All
Like crisis.
crises. Internet crises. All right, all are welcome here. Your window sticker states. So I push open your door of frosted glass and I tuck myself into the cold summer greeting. As my eyes adjust from the loss of sun, I smell straight spines and stale air, and then I stand center aisle and scan Shakespeare, local authors, young adult, supernatural. Where's your queer literature? You raise your head, startled, as if the bell above your door hadn't sounded their warning. Your eyes look past me. It's tucked in the alcove in the back. You shrug. Gesture with your chin. I catalog the shelves as I pass French cookbooks, New York Times bestsellers, hiking guides. Just past adult literature, I find a few dozen titles catching dust on the bottom of a shelf. gay and lesbian fiction. I scan the titles: Giovanni's Room, The Immortalist, Death in Venice, Orlando, On a Gray Thread, The Well of Loneliness. Nothing new, few fluid, rarely happy in the end. I return to the front, ask for titles by name, mostly dead things. Stray City, Fun Home, you type, scan your screen. No, nothing like those as you raise your eyes above metal frames. Where do you shelf your bisexual or transgender books, your intersex, your asexual, your two-spirit fiction? Oh, well, we limit our selection. We don't want to confuse people. She walks away, straightens her shelf of Russian poetry.
One through five. 1 through 5.
Oh, 4. I'm feeling 4. And a half.
Ben C.
Yeah. Oh.
Here comes Ben.
What?
Oh, it's good to be reading in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I moved here in 2019. I haven't been to a reading yet, so yeah.
I moved here 4 months ago. You got this.
Oh yeah, totally.
Well, then you only kind of moved here.
I moved here half time 4 months ago.
It's not scary at all. It's mostly beautiful, as invisible hands take turns tucking in the loose ends of day. My own, I commit to cleaning another mess I made and told you to leave alone. Every time I sweep, there's somehow a thin skin of sand on the floor. What sort of routine is this? You dive into the new city like you know already what lies below the surface, how deep the bottom. I lick apricot jam from a spoon, sip from an empty mug, the motion what's important. I take 3 baths a day, wonder if the neighbors can hear the faucet shudder when I fill the tub again. After hours apart, you ask, want to look at the lake and just sit with me? Not ready to respond, I try again to beckon both wolves with open palms. Enough food to feed us all. Thanks.
1 through 4. 2. Nick Thiessen? Tyson? There was 3 ways to say it, and I picked the 2 wrong ones.
You can say it anyway. It's the poetic interpretation.
Indeed.
Hey, this is really cool to be here. Thanks, everyone. This is awesome.
Your notebook is awesome.
Yeah. Just about to comment the very thing.
Let's be honest, that's legit.
I work at an after-school program and often bring my book to write in. And I tell kids it's a book of magic. So it's kind of fun. Some of them maybe believe me.
As they should.
As they should, yeah. I write a lot from the place of the Boundary Waters, both literally and internally. So this is kind of with that in mind, the forest. It's called a tidying. Garrison, a place of presence now here amongst the pines of eternal protection. That eternity which is present here in this distilled moment. Hiding in the underbrush, it calls you off the path in order to be found. This presence is both the quiet comforts of deep home and the treacherous unknown of a new frontier. If you need to, say something other than what you mean in order to say what you really mean, or say nothing at all. Speak the colors into vibrance and paint a scene whose beauty is beheld by your eyes alone and whose beauty emanates from your eyes alone. For this existence is yours to love, in the mountain peaks of the day and in the recesses of the night. To dance on the streams of perishable moments, to hold the hand of grace's wrath, to be wrapped in the merciless arms of the mercifully unrelenting arms of the lover, to breathe the breath that relinquishes and blooms, to travel where only your future self has gone, to live as the one being lived. Let crumble your garrison of presence and journey with one step beyond the borders of eternity. Take that journey as if knowing you would never return, as if that step would place you on new land that for its sweetness you could not turn from. Thank you.
1 through 3.
3.
Joey Z.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Can't see the lights.
I'm very silent. I just moved here 3 months ago. So, beat that. I've never done anything like this, and I wasn't prepared. At 7 o'clock, my partner said, "Oh, Stevie's thing. Should we go?" I said, "Okay." Now I'm here.
We're here every month, third Wednesday.
I love that.
Come back.
I wrote this in 2019. It's called Combat. I would read it, but it feels easier to just remember it. I gotta admit it. I've been walking on eggshells since those hospital visits, surrounded by aunties and uncles telling me God's got a vision. I can't believe that they thought they could get me into God of my mama's sickness. Widening our large division. I'm crying, walking through that parking lot, shivering. This is one of the hardest parts of our predicament. I can't keep watching, though I know our time is limited, and I'm trying to find forgiveness. It wasn't in those buckets of tears or punishment. Gluttony, give me something to fear. I've been active those last couple of years. I was caught up staring daggers through that fuck in the mirror until he was shattered. Fuck that. I gotta stop pretending nothing is real. I was burning myself just to give me something to feel, clutching that steel against my legs like, why the fuck am I here? I got 30 layers deep before some love was revealed. It meant nothing. I gotta go beyond that. Go to war with myself and make music out of the combat. Choose a pain from my past. Ask, how am I gonna rhyme that? Where's it fit in the album? What beat could I put behind that? I'm trying to find where the bottom is. I spent a couple winters wishing on my father's death. I've been holding a lot in. I've been writing down much. Time keeps ticking, world spinning. Mine isn't. Now what?
One or two. Regina.
Hello. My name's Regina. I am also new to Minnesota. And I haven't shared my poetry since before COVID. So I'm a little nervous. What was it? Normally my poetry is more lighthearted, but on this very particular day, I felt a bit stabby. So this poem is called The Hourglass. Before the last grain of sand in your hourglass falls, listen to the lessons in the voices that you hear. We are half invested yet half infested on high-speed stimulation our brains have embedded. But life's fine print keeps prophecies in earshot, fleeing from the minds that fail to grasp truth. And not very distant from the world of everything that is you, the universe tunes in to leave us some clues. While over half the city's money goes to the men in blue, the men in black are still being beaten black and blue. While the wars kill civilians in the world's game of chess, and the only way of winning is seeing who makes the biggest bloody mess, so the ego can be boosted and we can say, we're the best. I find
Patriotism disturbing as it only divides. In reality, as humans, our only real difference is our size, and even then this shallow thought can bring us such shame, but that will benefit the old men marketing in what should be a woman's game. But a woman must work harder to get to the top. And even if she gets there, the misogyny doesn't stop. And this isn't to say that it can't happen to men. There is a line between being a feminist and a toxic feminine. So I urge you once more to listen again. These clues left are so loud that sometimes it's easier to be deaf. But if speech is a river, then silence is an ocean, and we are drowning. As we sink down, it will be our own waste swallowed that leads us to the bottom. To the day we stand before the universe and are forced to ask ourselves why paper was so important. Why we chased power over love. How we managed to kill Earth and each other. It's funny how our greatest gifts seem to always be taken for granted. And as we all know, life is the greatest gift of them all. So why don't we act as such before the last grain in your hourglass falls? Thank you.
And our last open micer tonight is Tom.
I took the job. The first one I could find. It did not feel wrong back when you were by my side. I barely made enough to pay for paper cuts I received, believing that I could not wait for what would happen if the minutes I had wasted turned to furnishings and vases, all so urgently I was faced with my first check. And I thought it wasn't worth what I had given. And I wanted to be first, but listen, it was honestly the worst decision I had ever made to never pay attention to the better things. To the God who walked on feathered wings, I was lost, accosted by my memories, fostered my insanity. All I wanted was a family, but a want is often manifested doom. To the sad and tragic tomb, let me avalanche into the empty avenue where you live with our son, and you give him a home. And I should thank you. And I'm too late too. And I don't hate you, but you must know when that first check was all I had, I wrote his name upon the back. I was aimless, but at least I knew I would one day pay the lease. So I asked to work Sunday, Monday, please, Tuesday, too late on Tuesday, please. Then on Wednesday we would meet. I knew I would one day pay the lease. But by Thursday you had turned away. Friday, you were like a stranger. Saturday, I spent half the day waging war with the woman I was fighting for. You knew I wasn't writing anymore. You knew that I was hiding by the door. Silence was a chore and childcare was an island I didn't know what went wrong or how to fix it. All along, now I miss it. Fighting, it was fear. Fear, it was igniting like a match, and you would match me blow for blow, and so what? So I was not so alone when I did not have this home. These chains, these painful pockets in my veins, this wasted watch, it tick-tocks your name, broken though it only knows my pain, but it still ticks because I cannot say goodbye. Can we still talk? I think I make too much. I think I want to fill these pockets with change instead of dollars, at least enough to clear the rain up from these waterways. I just wanted ways to pay the lease. I just lost the phase that came beneath. Now the only must that I can muster is that I must release. Thank you.
Stevie, come back up here. Time for you to thank your guests this evening.
Oh, yes, thank you. This evening.
Be more specific.
Oh, more specific? Well, thank you very, very much, Zelda Perkins. It was fantastic. Jess Morgan, who was also very fantastic. Loved to write it. It was so hometown. I loved it. And of course, Kneiszel. And the very, 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 very fantastic Tony Placido.
And Stevie Sanchez IV, aka Quattro.
And everybody who did an open mic, all of you were all amazing.
Round of applause for the open mic.
Yes.
So, this has been Poets and Pints number 92. Next month is 93, but it is also Black History Month, and we have the Black Pearl Warren coming in with, I know Jalandra is going to be here, Nikita Lloyd, and Maurice, my memory sucks. That's not their last name. And so come celebrate Black History Month here at Poets and Pints on February 15th. We're here every third Wednesday, and that is it. And also, on a personal note, I know that I have a flat tire right now, and so if anybody wants to stay late and help me change a tire, that would be super awesome. I'm not kidding. That happened. And I was losing pressure on the way here, so I knew it was going to happen. It's not a surprise. So anyway, must have a nail or something. But now that I put all that on the internet, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you coming. And we'd love to see you all back again. And I know it's good to come and support people you know, but it's also good to come and support people you don't know. So have a good night, and we'll see you next month. Bye.